Welcome, everyone, to the Sickos Committee Podcast. This is our podcast for the 13th of February, 2023. I'm finally out of Groundhog's Day, and I'm super excited about that.
This is wonderful.
I know, I'm super excited. This is our
It only took
post-Super
half
Bowl
the
show.
month.
God, is it? Oh, God, it really has been half the month. Thanks,
Yeah.
Beth. Needed that.
I'm here to help.
We are going to be covering some Super Bowl, some college football, some other random things as well, as always. My name is Jordan. I am the VP of God knows what at this point. With me tonight, I've got ChickenSedan, Andrew, and Beth. Commissioner is currently on assignment. Yesterday, he was leading the tailgating revolution outside the Super Bowl in Arizona. Today, I assume he was with Pat Mahomes at Disneyland. Pat Mahomes' kids are named Bronze and Sterling. I learned that today.
Need a golden in there.
The dogs are like silver and steel.
He could probably do whatever he wants to at this point.
Oh no, I'm not. There was no joke to that. It was just like, oh, Patrick Mahomes is awesome.
Yeah.
So first off, let's see how people are doing. Beth, how are you doing, dear? Yeah.
I'm fine. It's fine. Everything's fine. I think I'm dying.
We're excited to see a preview of your recital on the podcast in the coming weeks. We'll give you some chance to lay down some music for us. It'd be great.
That's the meanest thing you've ever said to me.
A little avant-garde alto saxophone. Was that unaccompanied, the piece you showed me?
Oh, yeah.
Okay, yeah. A little unaccompanied alto sax. It's from Canada, but it feels very Parisian. I'm just saying.
Is there a way to bevel the audio recording?
Oh,
that would do it.
Don't worry. That piece is going to sound super bevelly. It's crunchy sounding. I'm super excited for it.
Yeah, get ready for Ryu Noda. Listeners, if you want an idea of what this piece is like, I want you to Google Fairies, Air, and Death Waltz.
Yeah. Yeah, you guys will love that.
Those are all Pokemon types, right?
Basically. Barry, ChickenSedan, how are you?
Oh, no.
Oh, no.
My name, it's fine. I'm doing well. I'm doing great. Weather was like in the 50s today. I didn't work when we had a bunch of brush to clean up in our backyard, so we got out the old solo stove and threw a bunch of it in there and just had a good old burning. There's still a lot back there, but cleaning up the backyard. The dogs were sitting in the sun, having a good old time. So yeah, everything's good.
Andrew, how are you doing?
I'm good. Life is good. We're getting some Sickos basketball here in Columbus. The men's team is really quite bad, and unfortunately, the women's team is pretty injured. So they got kind of beat down today by Indiana, who's very good at women's basketball, but the men's team is bad vibes all around. So other than that, though, everything's great.
Well, guys, the Super Bowl happened yesterday. The Chiefs won. Pat Mahomes looked like Pat Mahomes. Beth, you said last time that what they were going to have to give him would put down 6 moose. I'm pretty sure that what they gave him at halftime was more than that.
Yeah, I'm pretty sure that you could have successfully sedated like an entire 12th grade class with whatever they gave him coming out at like he was operating on a very different plane.
He looked so hurt.
Oh yeah,
because they pulled him down by his ankle, the same ankle he had the high sprain in. Like it was bad.
Yeah,
he was on the sideline looking rough. Oh god.
Yeah.
I mean, I'm honestly, I'm very happy for him because this could not have possibly worked out any better for him because now he gets to go in the wheelchair lines at Disney World.
He's at land.
He's at land.
He's at
land. I
land.
mean, hey, wheelchair line is wheelchair line, and it's awesome because you're going to be waiting behind like 3 people, so he's basically a walking fast pass.
Well, he's not walking though.
Right.
A rolling half pass. Flash pass, whatever.
I assume he's going to be walking again sometime around the end of April.
I saw him standing up with his family. That's how I knew their kids' names because they were in the picture.
Are you sure that he wasn't just like tied to a post or something?
He may have been leaning pretty hard. Yeah. I want to see him trying to be held up by like 4 dwarves.
Yeah.
Jalen Hurts also looked really good too. Like this was just a really good game.
It was incredible.
No complaints. It all just went well. I mean, to the very end, and you could say whatever you want about the last that call. Fine, whatever. It was just a fun game. I had a really good time. That's not usually what I say after the Super Bowl.
Yeah, it was like the opposite of the BW3's button where the game's going well and everybody's having a good time. They're like, nah, we're just gonna end it. It's nope. We want it over. And growing up in the 90s, like Super Bowls were not good.
No.
I was probably too young to remember or at least didn't care at the time to remember the first Bills loss, the Scott Norwood game.
Mhm.
But like the other 3 Bills losses were all bad, and then
Mhm.
all the Cowboys and 49ers wins, they're just blowouts. And to see good Super Bowls, it's a revolution. It's great.
It was unfortunate that this takes place on a field that was so bad.
Yeah, can we talk about this? The sod was bad for the semifinal, the Michigan TCU game, and then they said, okay, we're going to improve this, and I think they said spent $800,000
Yeah.
on growing
Yep.
the turf, and it was not any better.
In fact,
So
I'll argue it was worse.
it might have been worse.
They had apparently grown this grass for 18 months. This was a special Oklahoma State grass that they developed, and it just looked like shit.
I'm
Quick question.
assuming maybe the grass was really awesome, but like we planted it in sand. Like it looked like nothing was holding it together. This is the kinetic sand of turf. I don't know what they were thinking. But like you can buy 1.6 million Sheets hot dogs for what they like, for this turf. And
Important measurement.
listen,
Okay, no.
the West Central Pennsylvanian in me appreciates the fact that, even though the Steelers were not able to appear in the Super Bowl, that was like they sent Heinz Field along with like to the game. I love that. That's kind of beautiful. But
my wife yesterday told me, "Hey, did you know that a cloud weighs the same as 40 adult T-Rexes?" It's like those two. That's not a unit of measurement you use. That doesn't work. Because I don't have in my head what 40 adult T-Rexes weigh like.
Mm-hmm.
If you had 1.6 million hot dogs, let's get rid of the buns, just the hot dogs, and you just set them down on the ground, no overlapping. Could you cover a football field?
The traction would be about the same.
I don't know. I'll do that math later. I feel like you might be able to.
Oh no, we've seen Jordan's math.
Hey, I got my combinatorics finally okay. Thank you very much.
So I have a quick question, and this is probably a little too serious for this podcast, but like, how many NFL stadiums do they play on actual grass? Is part of the issue that these guys are used to playing on field turf so often that having an inconsistent field like just messes with you?
I imagine it does. I actually don't know offhand how many stadiums do turf versus grass, but I feel like it's this stadium for some reason. Like even Cardinals fans were saying,
"Yeah."
Well, that's the whole point of it. Is it's like, oh, we're an indoor stadium, but this grass lives outside. It's an outdoor pet.
So
we let it free range.
14 NFL fields out of the 30 do not use grass.
Only 14.
Wow. Yep. Okay, that's actually shocking. I thought they'd be more field turf.
Yep.
Yeah, I thought so too.
And for those of you who are very adroit listeners, remember that the Rams and the Chargers share a stadium, and so do the Giants and the Jets, which is why there's 30.
It's just so bad to watch this game get played on such a shit turf. This because we sat there and we lolled about the Pinstripe Bowl, and even then we were like, "This is funny," except someone's gonna snap a fucking ankle. Yeah, and watching was their kicker. It was a kicker last night in slow motion. Awful. And watch him plant his foot and his ankle just go whoop. Like I hurt. I know ankles don't go that direction, guys.
Yeah, I gotta feel real bad. If there was I think it was before the game, somebody had shouted out that this man was working on the grounds crew, a 92-year-old man working on the grounds crew, and they showed him there, and he was real happy. And then I think a lot of people saw this tweet after everybody started slipping. So now we have this scapegoat of this guy who probably should be retired, who's out there tending grass. Poor guy.
He's the sod father. He's worked the field at every Super Bowl.
He's the sod grandfather at this point.
Yeah. This reminds me of an episode of King of the Hill where Smitty, the Wizard of Sod, is like growing the grass at the local game, but he starts being bad at it. So Hank starts like picking up the slack. Anyways, King of the Hill is a great show. But yeah, like this was just I can't fathom this game. This is the NFL's, what they say, how many, like 113 million people watched it, something crazy. And it was on this.
think I saw it was the third most watched of all time.
Like show of all time, TV thing of all time, yeah. And of course, it's always the top 20. It's always like 19 Super Bowls and the finale of MASH because we love Alan Alda. How is that still there?
Because there was only 3 channels then, so
I guess so.
you really didn't have a choice.
Are we adjusting for like population inflation? Is that what's happening? They're like, well, in 2023, people.
It must be, or it's like share or something, like market share. The other funny one about the speaking of 3 channels, Victoria Dirtbag Queer on Twitter said that the reason that Super Bowl commercials stuck more back in the day was that there was no meme culture, and we just had to wait like 12 months for new memes to come around. So we were just fine going, "What's up?" at each other for like a year before something else came out that was funny. That used to be our only meme source with Super Bowl commercials.
Were any of them good this year?
No.
I feel like I liked a couple of them, but I don't remember them, so they couldn't have been that good.
I laughed very hard at the Business Rockstar commercial.
Yeah.
That made me laugh very hard, and I liked the Triangle commercial because it was very on brand just for me as a person.
That was a good one.
But your mileage may vary there, I suppose.
I feel like we've gotten to the point where these commercials just now A, have celebrities, or B, are referencing something else that is unfortunately now at our age of things. So we're like, oh, it's things that I remember. What is corn dog?
Oh, if you haven't seen it, so somebody interviewed Andy Reid after the game, and they were asking him about the touchdown play, which was technically different from the other touchdown play, but basically the same exact result where they had a wide open guy in the flat. And apparently the play was called corn dog. And he's like, no, surely you don't call it that. They don't go in the huddle and call it corn dog. And Andy Reid's like, oh, they go and they call it corn dog.
There's a beautiful digression where Andy Reid is like, yeah, there's nothing better than a corn dog. A little bit of mustard and a little bit of ketchup. Like it's so wonderful.
God. I love Andy Reid so much.
He's perfect and we don't deserve him.
Have you all seen the episode of him on Guy's show, Diners, Drive-Ins, and Dives? It's fantastic.
No. Oh, I can't even imagine. Oh my God.
It's amazing. It's really great. I recommend you go find it, everybody.
Okay, so that makes Stephen Godfrey's tweet make a lot more sense because he found a Scott Loeffler play called Sonic Porno. Hey everyone, don't Google Sonic Porno. And the best thing is at the very top of the play Sonic Porno in bright purple font, it goes, "We will never make a flop call on Sonic Porno." I don't know what that means, but it is the most beautiful set of words I've ever heard.
Do I want to know what that means?
We will not make a flop call on Sonic Porno.
I'm not Googling it.
No, don't. Don't.
Incognito at the most.
Yeah. God, no.
Gonna end up on a watch list.
Beyond the ones we're on already, yeah. I want to say that shout out to Chad Henne. Chad Henne has been 15 years in the NFL, QB at Michigan. He was the QB at Michigan for the App State loss. And managed to spend 15 years in the NFL, $40 million in career earnings, same number of rings as Peyton, John Elway, Bart Starr, and Roger Staubach. And he only started 54 games over 15 years. God bless.
Legend.
Friend, I want to point out a tweet from friend of the program, Jay Arnold, who tweeted that Henne lost to App State, so things could be good for A&M.
Yep, turning the corner. It only took Michigan a little while to come back after that loss. Just a few years.
Just a few
years, and they were right back to where they were. So the other name that kept coming up, along with Chad Henne, in terms of great backup quarterbacks, can we talk about Chase Daniels too?
Oh, please. I love Chase Daniels.
I would love this.
So Chase Daniels actually may be more impressive in terms of this. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, 11, 12, 13, 14 seasons. So next year's will be his 15th season. He's getting the big money too. And he's only started 5 games in his career.
Do you want to hear my Chase Daniel origin story?
Oh.
I got into college football after being an NFL person because I grew up in New York. And I really like Chase Daniel in Missouri. So I own a New Orleans Saints hat and sweatshirt because of Chase Daniel. I really like Chase Daniel.
Okay.
I knew, and I think he was the backup for Breeze for like 3 or 4 years. So
I don't think Chase Daniels likes Chase Daniels enough to have
To be
Chase
clear,
Daniel's
I
girl
was like 12 years old. So
that's fine. That's still okay. Yeah, Chase Daniel may be the more impressive one because he is making tons of money backing up people, and he hasn't even thrown. He has thrown 273 passes in 14 years. Guys,
What
that's
year
not a
did he
lot.
graduate Missouri? I just didn't think
2008.
Chase Daniels was that old.
08.
Oh man.
Oh, he's from South Lake. He's a local to me. He's Texan. He's 36, man.
Hey, it happens.
Yeah.
Legend.
Chad Henne is what? Chad Henne's older than that.
He's older than
Chad Henne's
Chad-
38?
No, he was at Michigan in 2007.
37. He's 37.
So yeah.
So they're already on their second act of their career. What the fuck are we doing, guys?
I love people younger than me retiring.
Yeah.
And need that mild panic emoji right now.
Yeah. So,
yeah.
I mean, what we need now is we need Chad Henne to have his second act as a fired college football coach. He'll have done it. Like, you've lived the dream at that point. You have gone through so much of your life and been paid to not do anything. It's wonderful.
I mean, Michigan already employs Mike Hart, so if they brought Henny back, that
Bring him home.
Backup QB, is that the best job for money sake in the NFL?
I think
Like on the
so.
field.
Yeah, I would think so.
Because if you're a long snapper or you're the punter or you're the field goal, the specialist, like you're not getting paid as much and the security isn't as there.
And when you mess up once, everybody wants to murder you.
Right. I can't remember the Dallas field goal kicker's name right now, but I assume he's no longer the Dallas field goal kicker. I just assume that that's the fact.
You're also like in the perfect position to parlay this into a coaching career later because you're like, I held the clipboard. I called the plays.
Mm-hmm.
I did all of this stuff. Like it's basically like a very paid internship.
Yeah. And if you're the backup quarterback, you come in the game and you mess up, it's expected. Like you're the backup. That's why you're not starting. But if you're the kicker and you mess up,
or if you're Chad Henne and you win a playoff game because Pat Mahomes is made of Toradol and good feelings at that point. I think backup QB, especially if you can parlay it into like a 20-year career, that's the job.
What do you think is a better job then? Backup QB or last guy on an NBA roster?
Last guy on the NBA roster.
I feel like it's more practice time than the NBA.
Oh yeah.
That's right. You're not getting tons of reps. Is in entering year 14 of your career, you're probably not getting tons of reps.
I think backup QB is also more money still.
Probably. Damn.
It's close though.
Certainly fewer games.
I will say I enjoyed the halftime. I thought Rihanna brought it. She had released. I was pointing out she released like 7 albums in 8 years. And I was like, well, all these rock bands. I was like, I get that. But like in the 2000s, like people weren't putting out albums every year. Like it was not happening for most part in like pop stuff. She put out albums every year. That's why she went on a break because she was goddamn tired. And also, I thought it was great that the halftime show sounded good. I don't care how much of that was processed. It sounded good. Beth and I were talking. We remember it was 2 Super Bowls ago when The Weeknd was there. And that was that weird COVID Super Bowl. And he was like in the building of lights freaking out.
That was bizarre.
But the mix on that halftime show was so fucking bad.
It was terrible. It sounded like they were singing it like through a styrofoam cup 6 blocks away. It was awful.
Awful. So much better there.
So I wanted to speak a little bit and just offer a contrary opinion. And maybe this is me. And I realize that Rihanna's music is not for me. I am not really a pop music fan. There's a few songs of hers that I really like. With the "We Found Love in a Hopeless Place," I think is a great song. It's very much fun. Her biggest song, I feel like her biggest song for the longest time was "Umbrella," and I absolutely hate that song. It's just the chorus is so repetitive to me. It's just like she's a great singer. She has fantastic music. I'm not saying anything bad about her. It's just not for me. And so for me, the halftime show was it was fine. Like, it wasn't exciting. It wasn't a huge splashy thing. The biggest thing that I think is just like the respect there is that she does the whole thing while pregnant, in a world that is increasingly, well, maybe not increasingly, but generally hostile toward pregnant women. Yeah, probably increasingly. A lot of looking back. I mean, if I want to make a sports analogy, you look at Allison Phoenix, the world-class sprinter that got pregnant, and then Nike decided, oh, we're going to keep you on, but we're going to slash your pay by 70%. So, like, a world that doesn't allow, the fact that she sort of like didn't go public with the pregnancy until after the halftime show is a boss move. So regardless of any of my personal opinions about whether I am a fan of her music or not, that's cool as hell. So sorry to be a hater.
No, it's good. Hey, that's honestly being able to be like, I recognize what this was and I just didn't like it because it's not for me is a very important thing to be able to say.
Like, I will always weight halftime shows that are not lip synced and like have as many live musicians as possible much more heavily than ones that are mostly dance and mostly just like go along to the track. But the fact of the matter is, like, you are at the mercy of your mixer, and like they really let the weekend down, and that's not the only one. There have been several like that where it was just like it just not mixed well, not recorded well, and it causes all variety of problems. So like there's a balance there to be struck. But I wonder what if the initial plan for what Rihanna was going to do is what they actually executed. Like everybody's journey through pregnancy is different, but I know when I was like first and early second trimestering, there is no world in which you were getting me up on a moving platform like that. And you could see how much it was shaking at times when I'm not throwing up off the side of it. So massive, massive respect to her. And like for people who are like, I don't know how much energy she has, like she hasn't performed live in forever. And believe me, like you feel like you've been hit by a train at that. So like incredible amounts of respect. Like it never stopped. It moved. Like I can quibble about key signature stuff, but really impressive work from her.
You could really see the platform shaking. It was a little scary.
It was.
Yeah,
I
didn't notice until like partway through after she had already unhooked and rehooked that there was a harness hooked into her back on the platform.
It didn't look like there necessarily was for some of those dancers.
Hey, OSHA only covers certain amounts of people. You have fewer than so many employees. You don't need OSHA.
OSHA's anti-marshmallow, actually.
Exactly. Oh, there you go. Let's nudge this back towards our land of college football. First off, earlier this week it came out, Texas and Oklahoma are going to the SEC in 2024. So we're going to get one beautiful year of the 14-team Big 12, and then they're pushing the eject button and sending them to the SEC.
It's all bad.
This is dumb and stupid, and I hate it.
Which part is dumb and stupid, though?
All of it.
Agreed.
All of it. Every piece of this is dumb. The way it happened is dumb. That it's happening is dumb. Where they're going is dumb. The whole thing is dumb.
I mean, I'm
dumb.
gonna pander here a little bit because we have a big West Virginia fan on, but like losing out on these regional matchups is huge. We saw that this last year when the Backyard Brawl came back, and it was a huge matchup. I mean, neither of the teams went on to do anything this year, but the game itself was incredible. There was the largest attendance at Redacted Field, and it was great, and everybody loved it. And then it's like, why can't we have these games? Why is West Virginia playing Oklahoma State? It doesn't make sense.
We do these things not because they are easy, but because they're hard.
Yes, it is hard for them to travel for all these games.
Yeah, shit, wrong thing.
Why
does West Virginia go to Lubbock? We do these things. No,
why
because
does anyone go to Lubbock?
Usually to dodge a summons.
Taxes.
Oh, okay.
Pick up some cattle.
We started playing with the ideas of how many different kinds of ways we could combine these two teams back into the SEC, and since we're now having 16 teams in the SEC, and bless Kamish in his sleepless days came up with a GIF of some SEC pods for us, some of which were really funny. I like the idea of making Texas's permanent rivals, A&M, Oklahoma, and South Carolina. Or yes. I think I saw Texas, Georgia, Alabama, Vanderbilt. Sure.
Oh God.
Oh boy. Your schedule has died of dysentery.
I'm imagining. So, because like when they do at FIFA events or UEFA events, they have the little buckets with the balls in them. They open the ball up and they read the little thing. But they weight those usually.
Right.
And sometimes it's weighted by like, okay, the pot one has all the best teams, second one. So you get like this stretch. And so now I'm thinking about like, okay, what if we did that with SEC teams? And like, oh, this group is Vanderbilt and, South Carolina and Auburn and Alabama. What is the group that we could attach Texas to that would drive them the most crazy?
Missouri.
So bring back the weird Big 12
I think
days.
you just keep them
Missouri.
with all Big 12 old teams. Missouri, A&M, and Oklahoma. Just like segregate them off into, quarantine them off into like the Big 12 section, and like let the SEC all play each other. I don't know where Arkansas falls because the Big 8, I guess.
Well,
they
weren't
Arkansas SWC. I can't remember.
Big 8 they were Southwest Conference. Yeah.
Okay. Yeah. So I was gonna say force them to have a permanent with Vanderbilt too.
Yeah, I was gonna say give them like Vandy, Mississippi State, Kentucky, and Missouri.
Yeah, just really something just really unfun.
I feel like Texas though would take that Vandy matchup and just put it as a badge of honor, saying that their academics are in line and they're the best 2 academic institutions in the entire conference.
I gotta check those numbers. I feel like A&M's higher than Texas, but it just depends on the day.
Well,
alternatively, just make Texas play LSU 4 times.
God, I feel like it's when Texas and Oklahoma come in, they're gonna get a rough schedule to begin with. You sort of have to, and so I'm just imagining, especially because we're no longer getting divisions in the SEC. It's now going to be just an amalgamation of schedule plus your 3 permanents. And so I hope that first year is just going to be rough for the Longhorns. Oklahoma, best Oklahoma can do is just be like, you know what? We're going to go into this. We're going to let Texas take all the heat for this.
Mm-hmm.
I remember when Nebraska joined the Big Ten, and the first few years they were in the Big Ten because, I think this was post Leaders and Legends.
It was.
And it was East and West. But because they're new and they're the marquee new program, they had to play Ohio State and Michigan all the time in the first few years. And Ohio State, Michigan, Penn State, they had to, they weren't playing the Indianas and the Illinois of the world as often, but they came in, they had to go to the Crucible.
And now they're comfortably 4th in the really good Big Ten West. God.
Our favorite.
Comfortably 4th.
Happy Scott Frost Day, everybody.
I want to read a statement from the Pac-12 because this statement is great.
Are you sure? Has everybody had their vaccines?
Are you sitting in a place that you can receive such messages? I can't remember that morning.
A joint statement from the 10 Pac-12 conference board members. The 10 Pac-12 universities look forward to consummating successful media rights deals in the very near future. Okay, hang on.
That's the worst way you can say that. The worst way.
Hey, swipe right on us.
The S is in parentheses. That's the best part. They don't know if it's multiple deals. We're looking forward to consummating 63 separate deals.
This is speed dating. Hello, I look forward to consummating this relationship with you.
Next, they're going to release
Pac-12.
Next statement's going to say, "Oh, we totally have a media partner in Canada."
Mm-hmm.
It's YouTube.
Do you think that when they're thinking about like media rights deals, is it just like, well, we have to have one for new media and we have to have one for old media? What do you think the Pac-12 thinks new media is at this point?
TNT. TBS, characters welcome.
Streaming their games on portable DVD players.
I just like...
With the fax you guys at our game film.
Yeah, you have to order the CD in the mail.
And again, we're getting into expansion and teams leaving. It's like the fact that, USC leaving is just like the Pac-12 is decimated. What are they?
No, it's going to be great. I'm looking forward to watching this on so many appliances. My Samsung dishwasher is going to be all about Oregon on a Thursday night.
My Washington State toaster.
Yes.
Yep. Yeah, every single time somebody scores a touchdown, all of a sudden my dryer just starts singing "Di Forella" at me.
Continue the statement. Based upon positive conversations with multiple potential media rights partners. Okay, that's what you say when you haven't locked anything down yet and you want to sound like things are going well. We remain highly confident in our future growth and success as a conference and united in our commitment to one another. That sounds like what happens before you get the divorce.
Guys,
God.
did the Pac-12 just discover polyamory?
I think
I mean,
so.
Cal's been in the Pac-12 for a long time, so I don't know.
So is Oregon. They're all in Portland, so I feel like this is between Berkeley and Portland. I feel like this is not. Things are just getting really weird out there. I don't know. You don't have to fuck your media members, right? Like you don't have to. That's not required.
It needs to be consummated.
Pick another word. Pick any other word. Finalize it. We look forward to joining. We look forward to whatever.
The Pac-12 finishing together.
We hope to impregnate your screens with more exciting Pac-12 football.
Okay, you're gonna get another fucking title on this, Beth. I'm gonna be so pissed off. I'm so pissed off you get another title on this. God, Pac-12 is such a fucking mess. Love it. Hi, I'm Cal, and this is my friend Oregon and my other friend Oregon State, and we live in a little farm out by Portland.
And
We grow free-range wasabi.
Here's my ex-boyfriend, Aaron Rodgers.
Yeah. He goes in the dark a lot.
Aaron Rodgers is the most well-adjusted Cal player. Oh, no. In a world where Marshawn Lynch exists.
Yeah, let's say Marshawn Lynch is
I will not say anything bad about Marshawn Lynch.
We used to have divisions, but now we're just a polycule.
Side note, is Aaron Rodgers shitting ghee in the dark, or is the ghee cleanse and the darkness thing two separate things?
They're two separate things.
I don't care.
I don't know about this, and now I'm upset.
He shut himself in a dark room for a month or something?
No, she's talking. You don't know about the ghee cleanse?
No.
You're
Okay,
better
hold on.
off.
Nope,
You're
we're doing
really
this.
Is he just like eating ghee, like clarified butter ghee?
It was the only thing he was eating for like 2 or 3 days.
So after last year's season, when he was like, "I'm going to turn this around, guys. I'm going on a 12-day panchakarma. Look it up. Here we go. What does this cleanse entail? 1. The administering of emetic drugs to induce a severe spell of vomiting to clean the upper gut. 2. Forced diarrhea that purges and cleanses the bowel. 3. Medicated enema used to clean and accumulated toxins in the colon. 4. Nasal administration of medicated oil to cleanse accumulated toxins. And 5. Procedure done to cleanse the blood. Also, you eat nothing but ghee for 3 days until you evacuate from both ends. One day of therapeutic vomiting and 1 day of laxative therapy, many days of enemas, yoga, and meditation throughout.
So basically, he's expelling substances from every orifice. Not, like, what about his ears? Like,
I assume the ghee came out of his ears too.
Why?
There's still ghee in his ears to this day, actually.
I would argue that if someone is explaining something that you have done as therapeutic vomiting, that you have made some cataclysmic errors in judgment in your life.
I went to college in the early aughts, and I played beer pong, and I feel like there was some therapeutic vomiting involved, in which I came back and I was a lot better at beer pong.
Oh yeah, the boot and rally is important. The boot and rally is clearly important. Okay, that's a technique.
Oh, sorry. Actually, Jordan's the only person on this podcast I might also refer to the game as Beirut and not beer pong.
Boot and rally is always classic. But yeah, so guys, what I'm seeing is that we need to all give this a try next season.
Can you imagine, like, what does your space smell like on, like, day 3?
Ghee.
Not great.
Ghee and sorrow.
You're never washing that out of anything. Like, never. That's take everything that is made of fabric in your home and burn it. This is like the end of the Velveteen Rabbit.
I hope you had a tarp down. Tarps.
Ugh.
You got to tarp every surface.
What does Aaron Rodgers think the liver does?
I don't know.
Apparently.
Doesn't do toxins.
I just, like, apparently he's of like the school, the opinion that your bowel is just a thing that has more pockets than cargo pants, and we just store stuff in there, like, oh,
like chipmunk cheeks.
Well, his isn't storing anything at this point.
Yeah. It just slides right out. He takes a bite of food, and it just like a fucking Schlitterbahn slide. Woo!
Oh god!
Oh no!
Not great.
Oh.
He's greased. Like a greased watermelon.
I'm
Like a
never
greased
asking
watermelon
about
through a
an
pipe.
Aaron Rodgers thing ever again.
Nope.
No, please
I don't
don't.
know.
Oh.
This was not in the show notes. I don't know what I signed up for.
It's great. It's fine. Well, let's talk about something more. Let's talk about something more wholesome, but also something that is also a sign of the decline of the Americas. Guys, someone stole the catalytic converter from the Wienermobile
Disgraceful.
in Vegas.
Well, that's where all the pawn shops are, and scrap metal dealers. Get some good money for that Is it palladium?
So someone told me that a catalytic converter has a bunch of different things in it, like has a bunch of like very expensive metals in it.
Mm-hmm.
I did not know this. I knew that when I had to replace one, it was very expensive, and that makes sense.
I did not participate in the fraud where you staple a beer can in place of where your catalytic converter used to be, but I know some people who have.
I feel like
What is that?
it would be
Does that
funny
actually
to
convert
see-
things properly, or is it just there?
Apparently at least in ye olden times, there was the tale that it would fool an emissions test. I'm sure it doesn't actually fool an emissions test. I'm sure that this was just somebody who's like, I know how I'll fix my Geo Metro, but
Yeah, that feels correct. Yes.
I like the idea though of the Wienermobile just like rolling coal somewhere. We don't need a catalytic. Just put a straight pipe in there. Just blow them off the road.
This is the weirdest product launch of a Smoky Mountain flavored Oscar Mayer brand that I've ever heard.
It's just the car launching 5 miles down the road just by forward momentum.
Oscar Mayer was founded in 1883, which does posit that there could be a Oscar Mayer Wiener train that existed in the 1880s that was absolutely rolling coal.
This is my new favorite Back to the Future adaptation, and I am so excited about it.
Change the DeLorean for a Wienermobile.
I
And
mean,
then
their
they've gotta get
first
the train
problem
going.
their first problem is you have to get the Wienermobile up to 88 miles an hour, which
Is this for 2 Beats origin story?
I bet you. Let's see what the max speed on the Wienermobile is.
Critical information.
Okay, timeout. When I type in Wienermobile Max, the next word that comes up is Verstappen. I don't think Max Verstappen has ever driven the Wienermobile. I'm just going to argue.
Are you sure?
counterpoint,
no.
he has.
Oh my
You'll
God,
never
also-
convince me otherwise.
Also, Max Verstappen has also never thrown a football before. Did anyone
that
see the
picture
Red
is
Bull
so
post
good.
the other day?
Yes, post it.
And
We'll
Alanis
post it in the thread.
King,
It's so good.
who is phenomenal at a lot of things. She's incredibly funny, really good at basically everything. She also follows us, so that counts in her favor. But she put the picture up with the alt text of looking like a kindergarten who was picked last in gym class.
God, it's so good. Here, do you have a picture? Do you have that picture handy? Let me find it.
It's on their Instagram. And also Daniel Ricciardo shows up. I think they only hired Ricciardo just so they could do promos with him.
I mean, I assume so. Okay, dropping in the Discord right now for you guys if you haven't seen it.
I realize that this is a tangent, but hey, life is full of them. I went to go look for the speed of the Wienermobile, and instead I got an article from the Drive that just says Oscar Mayer adds a real-life 150 mile per hour jetpack to the Wiener fleet.
The Wiener Fleet.
Yep.
By the way, the Wienermobile.
This is their second aerial addition to the Wiener fleet. The first is the Wiener drone, which is capable of airdropping hot dogs.
The top speed of the Wienermobile is about 70 miles per hour. It goes 0 to 60 in 24 seconds.
That's
So a little slow off the line.
honestly, that's slow, but that's also disconcertingly fast for anything that is shaped like that.
I mean, I drove a 84 Oldsmobile Cutlass Supreme in high school, so I know the feeling.
And
Well-
and how fast and how badly did it shake when you got it over 70?
I don't know. I don't think I ever did. I did have to enter through the passenger side door because the lock was broken on the driver's side. And me and my infinite high school wisdom didn't realize there was literally nothing worth stealing in that car.
Have we all driven a car that shook to high hell when you got over a certain speed?
Oh, absolutely.
Oh, yeah.
Yeah.
Well, that was mostly because I never got my Ford Ranger service, and it was just my fault.
Okay.
Have you ever been in a PT Cruiser, Jordan? It's pretty bad.
Oh yeah, no, those over 60, those things like shake like hell.
They also have the worst turning radius I have ever experienced in a
It's
car.
A
Horrible.
boat, like a
Yeah.
fucking
rental car of all time.
God.
The worst for me
Yeah.
recently was my last move was driving a 24-foot U-Haul on the highways in Detroit.
God.
And
All
Michigan
25
is
of them.
pardon?
All 25 of them in Detroit.
Oh my god. Yeah, the roads here are bad, which is the biggest understatement of all time. Michigan has some of the worst roads in the country, and like they're all concrete. And as soon as I got onto 696 or actually it was 275. Doesn't matter. Uh, the truck just started bouncing up and down, just complete oscillation, and I could not stop it. He's got this like harmonic frequency of truck bouncing that I had to slow down to like 45 miles per hour before anything stopped, and I was terrified.
ChickenSedan, I know that we've had our differences about this, but now that you've moved to Michigan, which has such terrible roads, do you have something you'd like to say to Breezewood?
Breezewood, I don't have anything to say to Breezewood that wouldn't get me on any sort of FBI watch list.
There you go. On my visit list is Breezewood. I'm super excited to visit that place one day.
My most dad opinion is that I will literally never stop for anything in that town. They manufacture this entire little strip, so you have to get off the highway, and I will not stop. I don't care. If I could be completely empty, running on fumes. I'm gonna find the next stop.
All interstates should meet at a traffic light, ideally with a Sheetz across the street.
Yellow and gold store. Sorry, black and yellow store. I don't know Pittsburgh.
I'm gonna back off to I'm gonna back up. Sorry, to Wienermobile under notable incidents on the Wikipedia page.
Oh boy.
Oh boy.
In June 2007, a Wienermobile with a Wisconsin license plate of Yummy made headlines after being stopped by the Arizona Department of Public Safety officer for allegedly having a stolen license plate. Officer Kay Lenkow had observed the Wienermobile slowing traffic and checked the license plate to determine if the vehicle was street legal. The license plate came back as being stolen out of Columbia, Missouri, so the officer stopped the Wienermobile and detained the driver. Oscar Mayer had not notified police that they had obtained a replacement plate after the previous one had stolen, and that it should only be considered stolen only if not on a Wienermobile.
Unbelievable.
Yeah.
I'm so confused.
That's crazy.
Yep, love it.
If I drove past a pulled over Wienermobile on the side of the road, my day would be made for the next month and a half. That's fantastic.
They got the police dogs going into the Wienermobile. They smell something. They smell something. It's a hot dog. Shout out to Tulane, by the way. They had their Mardi Gras parade. It looked like a lot of fun. Tulane got to be on a bus. They had the Tulane mean wave up front. They had some really great throws, like some Tulane cups and coins and beads and stuff. It was great. And we also found out the Cotton Bowl trophy weighs 43.4 pounds. Thank you, Tulane football, for giving us that.
Thank you to anyone that posts about the weight of their trophy. That's amazing.
It's so much fun, and it's become this great, like, people want to share it. Shout out to the first person that sent us weights was Dartmouth, by the way. Shout out to them. They sent me the weight of the granite trophy between them and UNH. And then we got Idaho and a bunch of other people, and it was great. Thank you guys.
Yeah, it's spectacular, and it will never, ever, ever get old. Please continue to weigh things for us. It's my favorite.
Do we need to issue a certified Sickos scale that we send to people?
Yes, that's what we need. Yeah. Shout out to the Phoenix Open that wrapped up this weekend along with the Super Bowl. Some guy named Scotty Scheffler won. I don't know who that is. Don't really care. All I know is that on the 16th hole, things were great. We had a streaker. We had someone crushing beers. It was great. I was so happy and so excited.
I'm gonna take umbrage. This streaker you talk of. This person was not fully nude. That's not streaking. Yeah. My initial umbrage is with this tournament in the first place. You see this golf course, and they're standing. It looks like this nice green grass. Well manicured, sculpted. They pull the camera out just a little bit. It's the middle of a goddamn desert.
Yeah,
they got to truck water in from a lake that's drying up. That's gonna be dry before I die, and they're just putting on a golf tournament. What are we doing here?
Mm-hmm.
What are we doing?
I mean, golf is about nothing if not the ethical use of resources.
Do you know that Alice Springs in Australia has a golf course?
Why?
I don't know, but they do. Alice Springs is, think about the most middle of Australia you can get.
Anybody ever watch the show on Netflix called Instant Hotel?
No?
Oh my
No.
What is this?
It's actually terrible what it represents, but it's an Australian reality show where they get like 5 couples, or not necessarily couples, but people or groups, where they're all renting out Airbnb-ing their places. But they can't use the word Airbnb for legal reasons or whatever, so they call them instant hotels. And so they each all stay in each other's Airbnb, and then they rate each other, and they make a winner. But one of these groups, they stayed in this town called Cooper Pedy, either Cooper Pedy or Cooper Pedy, like a hyphenated town. It's in the middle of nowhere. Everything's red, just red dust, sand, dirt, everything. And every time they had an interview while they're outside of these people's house, which is like a cave in the ground, it was basically like a hobbit hole. But they're outside and they're interviewing these people, and literally all you see is they're just swatting away flies the entire time. These flies everywhere, huge, terrible. Like, why would anyone ever live in the middle of Australia?
It is in the dead center of Australia. I put a picture in the Discord so you can see it. That is their golf course.
I hate it.
Just tee right off Uluru.
Yep.
Yeah.
Oh god.
I mean, that's where it is, basically.
Did they cut off pedestrian access to Uluru eventually?
Yes. No. You can still go up. They just ask you not to.
Just stop being nice about it.
Do you guys remember? This isn't the first place I've talked about this. Do you guys remember there was an old Nickelodeon show about koalas named Pinky and Blinky?
Yeah. What was that called?
And the Noozles. It's called the Noozles. And
that's an extremely locked memory that you just triggered.
And they like went to Koala Walla Land through a portal in Ayers Rock, Uluru. Yeah, that was an anime, by the way. If you haven't unlocked that part of it, yeah, that was actually an anime too. So we can blame the Japanese for that one as well. I don't have a point to that. It was just weird.
There were several shows when we were kids that were actually anime or Japanese that we just thought were American shows, like David the Gnome. I thought was an American show.
Oh, it was Spanish, right?
I don't know.
David the Gnome was Spanish, I believe.
And then
there's the Noozles.
There's a bunch of shows that are actually Canadian that are like really popular.
Oh, and it took me the longest time in the world to realize that all of the fight scenes from Power Rangers were just taken from a Japanese show.
Yep.
Oh, good. Someone else on Discord. Holy shit, is that Noozles?
Further proof that we are all the same person.
Holy shit, is that Noozles? Great. Love it.
I'm going to drop this hotel here.
Do you ever see the last episode of David the Gnome where he turns into a tree?
No.
What?
Yeah. Last episode, David the Gnome, he's like, I'm old now. Guess it's time to die. And he nuzzles his wife nose, and he turns into a tree. They didn't play that episode a whole lot on Nickelodeon for a reason.
Also, weren't there only 10 episodes of David the Gnome? And
it was 12, but they didn't show the 12th one because he turned into a tree. That was a weird episode.
The music that they played while he was riding the fox around was an absolute banger, though. I'm absolutely throwing that into a composition at some point. Maybe that'll end up being our theme song. It's just going to be that on a loop.
Perfect.
So the Waste Management Open, I did see a man wearing the most incredible pants during this tournament. Did anybody see that? They were waste management themed pants. It was one of those.
Yes, I did see
golfers.
These.
This bright green, had the logos all over them. Golf fashion is something else.
Is that how Frank Beamer's gonna die? He's just gonna hug his fox friend goodbye, nuzzle his wife and turn into a tree.
I assume so. I assume that's how Frank Beamer dies.
Oh, he's gonna turn into a goalpost for kickers to kick through for the rest of eternity. Special teams for all of time.
He's just gonna die like this.
Yes. No, like this. Celebrating 0-0.
So I have a question about streaking. I've streaked before, but I'm not very fast, and I also get winded very easily, which is a problem. So this was not my thing. Because I slow down, which you shouldn't do.
We're just gonna let this slide. That are you gonna tell the story, or?
I mean, I've streaked several times. This isn't
I'm gonna go on the record and say I've never streaked. I don't know about the rest of y'all.
A public event.
As your attorney, I advise you to consider the statute of limitations very carefully before we continue on in this vein.
Well, part of it was in Vermont. In Vermont, it's fine there.
Oh,
they
there's
don't
no
have
laws in Vermont.
so-
Yeah.
Yeah, the New Hampshire side, however, there are laws. So we used to have something called the Ledyard Challenge, where the Connecticut River separates New Hampshire, Vermont, and we're right at the edge of the New Hampshire side. And so the goal was to get in the river. It's not a small river either; it's very wide.
No,
You
it's
swim.
wide.
You take your clothes off on the side, the New Hampshire side. You swim across, and then you run back and get your clothes on the bridge. It's a brisk run. I didn't do this because that's a long rest run. I didn't do that.
I played rugby in college, and I want to say it was SUNY Geneseo was the school that did this. But anyway, when you score your first try in rugby, you, depending on your team, the typical celebration is you shoot the boot. Most of you might know it as a shoey. Daniel Ricciardo from F1 does it a lot. You know, you fill somebody's shoe with beer and you chug it, and it's disgusting and terrible, and you do that. Some schools, they strip naked and run around the field. SUNY Geneseo, they would wait until after the game's over. They go to their house somewhere in the town of Geneseo, strip naked there, run around the city block naked.
The other one that I didn't do was because this was for long distance runners, called the Blue Light Challenge, which we had those blue safety lights on campus, and the goal is you map it out, and you got to hit every one of them while naked and not get picked up. But you have to go to everyone and let them know that you're naked.
Jordan, that's not a good idea.
You just watched a movie or something? Looks like there are other ways to like spend your time. I don't know.
You guys are looking at me like I'm crazy.
No, it's not you.
It's tradition.
There's a lot of bad traditions out there. We saw one of them in the Super Bowl when they cut to the German fans doing the bad Chiefs chant.
Yes.
Oh.
That oh my.
Exported to other parts of the world.
In Germany, of all places.
So first off, is there such thing as being too fast to be a streaker?
So you're saying, like, could Usain Bolt streak?
Yeah, because at some point it loses the effect.
No.
What is the effect?
Yeah,
that's the question. What's the point of streaking? Is it what's the point?
I mean,
at a big event, it's usually a publicity stunt. A lot of times, like a Greenpeace or you paint yourself with like fur is murder or something, or some
poker website or whatever it used to be. Yeah, but so if you're too fast, it doesn't work. But if you're too slow, you get tackled.
I mean, are we saying like too fast? Like Usain Bolt isn't the Flash. We can perceive him with our human eyes.
I know,
he doesn't like wink out of existence when he goes to run.
Is your point that you shouldn't be? You have to be caught to be a streaker?
No, I think you should be slow enough that you get the attention that you want, but fast enough that you can outrun the cops.
Are we envisioning a plot for the worst Fast and the Furious sequel?
I like this. It's about family and getting naked. Wait, no, never mind. Stop.
Wait, no.
No, not at all. Well, because clearly, like I said, there's too slow for streaking. I am too slow for streaking. I am now especially too slow for streaking, but I was back then too. But I feel like there's a too fast.
Is that just because like you're incredibly catchable?
I am so catchable. I'm so incredibly catchable. I am the person that you tripped so that the cops will grab them while you escape. Okay. I am the person you shoved to the bear.
I'm not slow, but I don't think I have the lateral movement these days. The ankles and knees aren't what they used to be.
I have that juke. Yeah, especially on a bad field. We're back to turf. Turf isn't good. I can't get a good juke. Can't get that right from a cop.
All I can think of is the streaker that we had in high school at one point who like managed to get the entire way end zone to end zone across the field, but was absolutely defeated by his attempt to clamber over the chain link fence on the far side. That part didn't go well.
I hope the top of the fence was not the type that has the thing sticking up.
Oh, it was barbed wire. Oh. Like, this wasn't a good plan.
Got to look it through. Hey,
he had a cape, and the cape kind of got snagged. Like, this was very, like...
No capes.
Yes, this was very Edna mode prescience. I mean, this happened in, like, 99, but yeah.
No capes.
No
capes. And this is why. Because the cops will catch you and drag your naked butt back across the field.
That's the other problem with getting caught as a streaker. If they don't have something to cover you with, then it's just a slow naked walk of shame, and that's not as fun. You've gone from like, I'm free, I'm awesome, this is great, to, oh, I'm slow and naked now, and this is less fun.
I do think
apparently
there's a
I have
part
very
of
different opinion than you guys about what streaking is.
I think there's also a part of the mindset of the streaker that's like, they don't want to touch me because they're gonna get my bits all over them. So like, if I'm completely naked, like people are gonna be less likely to try to take me down.
You're surrounded by like an ick force field.
Yeah, kind of. Like I don't know.
Adult
I don't
cooties.
know. Streaking was not my thing. I threw bowling balls off train bridges like a normal college student.
I did have
Wow.
when I was streaking one time. When I was streaking one time down frat row, I did. There was a girl who rolled up next to me in a car and said loud enough I could hear it. If I were you, I'd run faster.
Wow.
Oh wow! I'm surprised you were ever able to recover from that.
It was a cold night. It was so cold that night.
It was so cold.
It was a cold night. It was such a cold night.
Colder than her cold.
I was in the pool.
It was a cold night.
The chairman's not here, so someone has to do the Seinfeld reference.
It was so cold. So I want to talk about one more thing before we get to Andrew's basketball. Kentucky softball. I don't know if you guys saw this. Kentucky was at a tournament with Texas, and Texas and Kentucky are both very good teams. In softball, especially on tournaments, they have this thing where there's like a drop dead time for the last game on travel day. So that the game's been done by then, you just call it. Kentucky was ahead 7-4. They had Texas on like the third out, on like the last out. It was so close. Count was 0-2. And then they had to call the game. And the score rolls back to the last full inning played. So that means they drew 4-4.
Oh,
that sucks.
So 1915, the lights don't work at this. We don't have electronic lights in this stadium stuff.
Yeah.
But they have a drop dead time.
It was.
I also don't like that term of phrase.
It was one like 2 pitches left. They would have had it.
This is the paper that you were writing where you realized, like, right as your computer was crashing, that you hadn't saved it yet.
Mm-hmm.
This is a game without a save state, and that's horrible.
That's where you need George Brett to run out of the field and start yelling at everybody.
Yeah, that's just, like, I get why this exists, but God, that sucks.
Mm-hmm.
Just, that sucks. Okay, now we're on to...
Basketball, gimme the ball because I'm gonna dunk it!
Basketball, and shooting the ball, and the hoops, and the scores, and the baskets.
Gimme
Yay,
the ball
points.
because I'm gonna dunk it.
Woo! Andrew, what do we got for basketball?
Okay, so we are going to start, it looks like, with some breaking news. Texas Tech, who is 13-12 and 2-10 in the Big 12, just beat Texas. In the country.
Hooray!
And, it looks like there's a bit of a court storming, but
this is in Lubbock, yeah?
Back. Sorry, this is like I'm literally watching this on my television. Yeah, they're trying to hold back the students, and it's not going very well. Allow court stormings. Court stormings are good when they're not unsafe. Anyway, let's talk about non-breaking news. Over the week, Tennessee, who is a very good team, did not do well. I'd like everybody to open the tweet I have linked here.
Mm-hmm.
They lost to Vanderbilt on a wide open 3 with 2 seconds left on the road. And then they lost to Missouri on a 3 taken from half court. So back-to-back losses at the buzzer.
Oh.
The team shot the ball one was with 0.3 seconds left from the corner, and the other one was with 1.5 seconds left from half court. So that's not great.
Not great.
We don't love that for Tennessee fans.
Ugh.
So Stanford might have. Yeah, those were both taken moments before disaster for Tennessee. And Stanford might have overtaken Colorado's the random number generator team.
That's good.
They only beat Chicago State by, I believe, 8.
Yeah.
And then they beat Arizona by like 10. So I think they beat Arizona by more than they beat Chicago State. But I'm going to double check that right now.
What was the game that had the crazy last second shot? Like they inbounded it from like across the court and he just like shoved it in the basket with like no time left. Was that game this week?
Sounds familiar.
Do we know what I'm talking about?
Okay, so Chicago State, they beat 72-65 by 7. They beat Arizona 88-79 by 7.
So basically the same team.
Basically the same team. The number 4 Stanford and Chicago State, who bless them, but not amazing.
It was Portland State, Northern Arizona. I'm gonna
yes.
I'm gonna drop that in the.
Yeah, everybody should go watch that. That was pretty.
Give me one sec. I'll drop it in there. Northern Arizona, because yeah, you're gonna have to see this for yourself, kids. Okay, in the Discord, watch that video real fast.
Oh, whoa.
Yeah, it was pretty nuts. We can link that one.
Oh
Yeah.
my god.
Oh wow.
Oh, I had the audio on and my ears were just blown up by that announcer.
Yeah, him going through puberty live on. Yeah, it was just I've never seen anything quite like that.
Oh, lumberjacks. Oh no.
That is beyond a buzzer beater. Like that is. How do you even describe that?
The buzzer creator apparently in ChickenSedan.
Buzzer murderer.
I'd also like to shout out Stonehill. I don't know if you guys know, Stonehill is new to D1 this year. They used to be D2. They are in the NEC, our beloved Northeast Conference. And there's a pretty good chance that they actually may win the conference this year. But they are not eligible for the NEC tournament or the NCAA tournament or the NIT.
I hate this. Stupid.
It's terrible.
It's
This
terrible.
is like James Madison in football. Like,
Or this was last year it was Bellarmine, who wasn't eligible for their conference tournament.
And Mamaroneck.
And Merrimack, that's right.
like if they can't play in the D1 tournament, let them play in the D2 tournament and just win that too. Like, no postseason ball.
No.
It's garbage.
It is. I every time I hear reasons for this, I just go, like, I don't know what you're trying to stop here.
Like, who are you punishing and who are you protecting? This is ridiculous.
You can't come
Merrimack,
up to
who's
our
also
league
in
and win against us.
So Merrimack, who's also in the NEC, who also has a decent chance to win that league, is also not NCAA tournament eligible, but they are conference tournament eligible.
Silliness.
This is
Also-
what happened last year when Jacksonville State made the tournament because Bellarmine couldn't win the Atlantic Sun, I believe. But they were in. Was Bellarmine in the conference tournament? They were, right?
I believe so. I don't recall for
Okay, I
sure.
don't remember either. Okay.
Everybody
Okay,
acts
what
like
else
these
do we got?
rules are so set in stone. We can't change them. Just change the rule. Just do a thing.
We all remember 2020. Everything is made up, and anyone who says otherwise is lying.
Mm-hmm.
Or
Yeah.
did not watch the Coastal Carolina BYU game.
So what is the Mavrimony?
So, another breaking news item this evening at a halftime of the Dallas Mavericks and Timberwolves game, which the Mavericks were losing by 11, there was a marriage. Like someone just had their marriage ceremony at this arena. And I would ask you all, where would be the most sickos location to be married? But like a sports field, on a sports field or hardwood or
Oh, I mean, it's got to be Pocatello.
Pinstripe Bowl.
Oh, that's a good
That's a
choice.
good one.
Damn, that's a good choice.
Does it have to be football?
No.
Okay,
this was a
because
basketball.
getting married in the middle of a synchronized swim meet would be just amazing.
I like that. Are you swimming too? If you're being married, everyone's in the pool.
Yes.
We've already established that korfball is a co-ed sport, so korfball
Yeah.
teammates.
There we go. Hey,
There we go.
Nothing. Apparently, Korf weddings are very common. From what I've heard, Korf weddings are very common, and Korf babies.
Korf baby.
Lots of Korf babies.
They're really good at putting it in the hole.
I am
Mhm.
completely distracted by the trellis in this wedding.
What? It's beautiful. It's a hexagon.
No, it's awesome. I know. Like I am throwing no shade. I actually really, really like it.
Her dress
Great
is really
design.
pretty
It would be better
too.
if it weren't at an NBA game.
By the way, Mom. I assume Mom and Grandma are also that shot right there. You can see Mom and Grandma peeking in the corner there. It's wonderful.
How
do
mad
love-
is your maintenance guy that you're wearing high heels all over their basketball floor?
Oh, screaming. I mean, my high school coach used to like scream if someone wore, the wrong sneakers on the court. I assume that someone's just, I assume they have, timeout. This is lots of money.
Mm-hmm.
This is like, fuck you money.
Why would you want something so public? I just
Yeah.
don't
Two
understand.
things here that are shouting out to me right now. First off, congratulations from Chime. I don't know what the hell Chime is. Two, what is this suit that the officiant's wearing? Like, it's checkered. Like, what is that?
It's not great. Not a great fit.
Chime is a fee-free mobile banking app.
But the
No free cloud. No free
officiant's
cloud.
suit, it's
Yeah, it's great.
It's something.
So the best part about the officiant suit is like, look at the officiant suit now compared to what's going on in the wedding party, because we have like a royal blue sort of suit, like maybe a little bit duskier than that on groom's side. On bride's side, we're doing silver, and the officiant is wearing a green and yellow plaid.
Oh,
It's beautiful.
like
That is
Mavs
just
colors, but terrible Mavs colors.
Yeah, like this is not a good look. This is somebody who like was watching one of the Fox pregame shows and is like, I bet I could pull one of those off, and is now in the middle of discovering that perhaps that is something that is best left to the professionals.
Did they get married by Kevin Harlan?
Now that would be good.
And he's got to talk to him like he talks to Charles and Shaq.
Yeah, I feel like my call is definitely going to be getting married in Pocatello at the Holt Arena, whatever their weird rotated dome is.
I just thought of a new one. Ryerson Field in Ypsilanti.
Yeah, that'd be good.
Mm-hmm.
It would be raining there because it always rains there.
The sky is gray. The field is gray. The bridesmaids' dresses are gray.
Who dropped the last link in the chat?
We have to talk about George.
Is that his name?
Yes, his name is George. Did
This
you
is
watch the video? You have to watch it with sound.
Okay, let me get the sound.
Oh, is this the Red Wings thing? Yeah, I put that in there.
The kid at the Red Wings game?
Amazing. I love it.
It's George. Every time they show him,
That's
it's like
great.
the team scored a goal, and then they show Canucks fans, and everybody boos, and then they show George, and but it progressively gets louder.
I love it.
This kid is so happy. They're just juicing him up so much.
Oh my god, I can't imagine that as a kid.
And I love the Canucks fans are so game for it. They're like, yeah, we know.
That's so good.
This little
They
kid.
know what's going on here.
I love it. God, I love it.
Sports could be fun.
It can be fun. And sometimes we consummate things.
Ugh.
Anyone else have anything else, guys?
Nope.
Anything for the good of the order? Well, folks, we're not going to record again this week because we have Valentine's Day plus other things. So we will see you guys again on Sunday. Have a good week and take it easy.
How do I stop? Should I refresh? I'm going to refresh.